Hello, welcome to the Comic Buffet Podcast. I'm a Christian host, Rafi. I'm here with the Fantex, David.
Oh.
The Astonishing Seth. And the occasional Derek.
Yeah.
And today, we are doing a force feeding. Usually on this show, a force feeding is essentially David buying a book, me reading it without any context to it, and then talking about it. This time around, I've chosen the book off of a suggestion that came earlier, maybe a month ago.
Something like that.
For whatever reason, we were talking about the first issue of X-Men Gold, and it's only relevant because the artist in the book put in symbols that essentially date back to anti-Semitic events in history. Now, I do want to say, just to cover our own butts, the purpose of this show is to teach people about comic books while also having a fun time and laughing and stuff. But of course, none of the stuff said about this anti-Semitic stuff, we're laughing at it.
We're laughing because it's outrageous.
Yes, that exactly.
It's not. We don't support anything that.
You're
is
looking
said
into
here.
it because it's just weird.
It is. Damn it, Derek. Over there with your
Derek's
flag.
like, speak for yourself.
He's got the whole outfit on, the hat, and like the... Oh, we're not...
Holding
we're
the
not...
fucking Walther and everything. What?
That's not what we're about?
Oh shit! I don't want to be a part of this.
He's got like a poster of the Captain America Hail Hydra thing behind him. What are you talking about?
Red Skull's my hero.
Let's go. Did I tell you, this is off topic, you know that game Pictionary?
Yeah.
There's a Marvel Pictionary where Red Skull is a card, and I looked at the box and I saw them like, no child should have to be Red Skull. Am I a hero? No.
I am far from it, my dude.
Am I emotionally stable? No.
No. Do I have a Red Skull? Yeah, actually.
Imagine like
It
a
down.
kid watching like the Avengers cartoon or something like that, like the really bad one,
Yeah.
and them fighting Red Skull. Imagine a kid version of Red Skull.
Oh, like a child-friendly Red
Yeah.
Skull who just hates people. He just hates every people.
He hates the rich kids.
Yeah.
No.
So X-Men Gold was part of Marvel's like third attempt at making us think they care about the X-Men. The fact is, from like 2014 to I think now, Marvel's been like, oh, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, you don't think about them. We're just gonna push them down in a way because we don't own the movie rights.
Yeah.
Of course, now with Marvel buying the rights, you're gonna get more Fantastic Four, more X-Men stuff.
Let's
But-
hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, but like when they were pushing down the X-Men and Fantastic Four stuff, they outright got rid of the Fantastic Four. They're like, all right, Reed and Sue fuck off to space. Johnny can be an Avenger. The Thing can be on the Guardians. Whatever. What are we gonna do about the X-Men? Because people care about them. So they would just keep making X-Men books, and so
Fuck off to
they
space.
they literally made what is it? They literally made the Inhumans like the new X-Men basically.
Yeah.
So much so to the fact that the thing that would create Inhumans, which is Terrigen Mist, would also kill mutants.
Yeah.
Which is like so on the nose of like, wow, you guys are trying really hard to push this message.
Yeah.
To push your agenda.
The Hawk agenda.
Yep. But like, so it all led to Inhumans versus X-Men because Civil War II is happening. And Civil War II, we can't have X-Men in that because like, people obviously are going to see that Civil War movie and go to a store and pick up this book, obviously.
Yeah.
So we don't want to confuse people. But we want to shut up the X-Men fans, so we'll give them an event where the X-Men fight the Inhumans.
That'd be cool.
And I guess it was. I guess people bought it. But essentially from that event came another event called Resurrection.
Jesus Christ.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Well, that's the thing with X-Men, dude. They always have an X somewhere.
The Exiles,
I know, but
Excalibur.
I always forget.
How do you forget? It's the biggest thing on every book.
Yeah, you're right.
No. That's great too. Because you got to remember the guy that formed the X-Men was Charles Xavier. And I think he had said like, oh, I called you the X-Men because you're extraordinary. It's like, Xavier, we all know it's your initial. Like, don't pander. But, so they came up with a couple of different X-Men books. You got Weapon X, you got X-Force, you got Uncanny X-Men, you got like an Iceman book and a Jean Grey book, and you got X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of upsetting how both of them weren't really impressive. X-Men Blue, you guys know how I felt about that, with them being like, oh, issue 5, here's another Wolverine character.
Mm-hmm.
And here's like Bloodstorm and all these other bullshit things that we're going to put in the book. And then X-Men Gold was like, we're just going to keep it regular. we're not gonna do anything like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the guy that wrote it, Mark Guggenheim.
Guggenheim.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. What German last name?
Fucking
I can't. Apparently every name has to be John Smith now.
no.
So Guggenheim.
Anyways.
There, I did it too. Mark Guggenheim, like he has a thing in the back of the book where he's like, I want to keep it like the original X-Men, and go back to the basics and get back to what the X-Men were about. And I gotta tell you, reading this, maybe you shouldn't gone back.
You went back too far.
Maybe you shouldn't, because a lot of this shit, like David, what's my one complaint with the X-Men and mutants in Marvel Comics?
Trying to remember here. There's so many.
That people are still like, fuck mutants. It's like,
Yeah.
it's been 70 years.
Yeah.
Fuck you and like,
Why would
fuck
you?
Jews.
By now, you should accept them.
Yeah, like you-
Jesus.
Like, when the Hulk is an Avenger, how can you be like, yeah, but fuck mutants, though? Specifically.
You know that Hulk guy? Screw him. Am I right? He's a monster.
Thank God he's not a mutant, right?
Sweats,
God, he's
sweats.
not a mutant, right?
The guy's not a mutant or gay, right?
Like by now, it's just
What about a gay mutant? Iceman starts sweating.
like
Sweating
it's
ice.
2017. Like, geez.
Yeah.
The guy with a third arm shouldn't be too weird.
Yeah, right, it's 2017. We have Tumblr. How can you hate mutants? I don't know where that went.
Can you imagine
I think you guys are a little bit off. It's 2018 actually.
the mutants with fucking Tumblr?
You just don't understand
We're a mutant support group.
our struggle.
I'm mutant Ken.
That we were talking about.
mutant kid!
God damn.
We were talking about this before the show, but like
Mutant sexual.
we were talking about this before the show, but like
Mutant
fuck you,
sex.
Cyclops, for bringing up the mutant thing.
Yeah.
When all you have to do is wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever, man.
imagine if
I'm
one day
discriminated
we get
against.
a really good
Mystique's
X-Men
blue.
comic.
Yeah.
One day where mutants are actually accepted.
Why are three of us blue?
Yeah.
But they're actually accepted? Yeah, right. That'll be the day. You know,
Do a reverse fucking X-Men where mutants are the thing and the X-Men are normal humans.
I mean, that's almost what House of M was, to be honest. But it's funny, we talk about how the X-Men are hated. You know who actually doesn't hate mutants? J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, it's not their fault they were born with powers, just the way they are. And it's like,
You of all people.
Jay,
You
how
hate
weirdly human of you.
but Spider-Man's a fuckhead. Like, oh, okay, I was worried there for a minute.
Yeah, but fuck that Spider-Man guy, right?
Is J. Jonah Jameson like the positive side of Frank Miller?
Oh my god, please.
I am the light where there is no darkness. Thanks,
I am the
Jay.
beacon in the night.
What the fuck's
Beacon
Spider-Man?
of hope, but fuck Spider-Man though. He just has all these views of like, you know what? Women
J.
should be
Jonah-
allowed to vote.
J. Jonah
But
Jameson.
fuck Spider-Man.
Or J. Jonah, why do you hate Spider-Man? Well, you know,
He
you
fucked
want-
my wife.
You want to know why I don't
Jesus.
like him? Yeah, you didn't say hi to me. Fuck that guy. I started my day off with a good hankering hello, and he didn't even deliver
A
it.
good hankering hello.
A good hankering for a hello.
Because he calls himself Spider-Man, but he wears red, white, and blue. Have you ever seen a spider that's red, white, and blue?
See, like this giant spider, this exact color scheme. Well, I never.
Well, I don't believe in that. But yeah, so X-Men Gold is like our basic X-Men book, you know, just going with the basics, going back to the old toolbox and doing the same shit over and over. The team for X-Men Gold is interesting because you have like essentially the four X-Men that kind of revamped the X-Men, because the original X-Men was like Cyclops and Beast and Angel and whatever. And then the 70s, Chris Claremont took over the book and he was like, I'm going to build like an international team of X-Men. So the main standout characters were like Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, and Nightcrawler. They're here, except it's Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, and Old Man Logan.
Oh,
Because at this point, that Logan movie was coming out,
that's true.
and Marvel was like, hey, can we like find a way to put Old Man Logan from that one graphic novel into the current Marvel
Just
universe?
because you have an old man, give him like butter knives. Here you go, man.
And it's funny because outside of, because he had like a new comic called Old Man Logan written by I think Jeff Lemire, and that was good. But then you read Old Man Logan and everything else, and it's like he doesn't fit. He's from like a wasteland apocalypse where all the superheroes died and the Hulk's like an inbred. Like he doesn't work here. Like where
Hulk is just
where he comes from, the Hulk fucked his cousin She-Hulk and they had inbred kids. Like this doesn't work, Marvel. You can't just bring him in.
Marvel, no.
And it was also like during the time when like what is it? Like basic Wolverine was dead, so
Yeah.
they're like, well, with that Wolverine gone, here's 5 more.
Kill 1, 5 take its place.
It's like a Hydra of Wolverines. Snakes.
Joke's on you.
Hey, Bubba.
The entirety of Canada is just Wolverine.
Yeah, everyone there is a well. I posit that Wolverine is the collective anger of all of Canada, and that's why the rest of them are so nice. I hold this burden. Bub.
It's like Atlas.
A bub of Wolverines.
What's also kind of annoying about Old Man Logan is that like he behaves just like Wolverine. The only difference is that he just looks different, and we call him Old Man Logan.
Yep.
Like for all intents and purposes, you can just slap a costume on him, and there's no difference.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on this team. Prestige is on this team.
Who's Prestige?
Okay.
Like
So-
Call of Duty rank.
So you know how like
Hey.
Cable is like Cyclops and Jean Grey's son from another timeline?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well,
Let me tell you.
Rachel Grey
Yep.
is another alternate future daughter of Scott and Jean, but she comes from a different timeline.
Ooh.
She also had the Phoenix Force for a little while.
What is her powers?
Basically Jean's powers. She's
Oh, okay.
she's basically
Okay.
just another Jean Grey. Because with every Wolverine, there must be another Jean Grey. But yeah, she has psychic powers. She originally went by Marvel Girl, which was Jean's original name. Then she went by Phoenix for a little while, much like Jean Grey. In this book, they established that like she uses the name Prestige to kind of move away from like the roots of Jean and kind of do her own thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. Like she's been on like multiple teams. She's had like weird like costumes and stuff. But she's just another X-Men character where it's like, you know, if you didn't tell me she was from another universe, I probably wouldn't hate her as much as I do.
Yeah.
Like 2 of the people on this team are from other universes. It's kind of weird. And then the leader of this team is Kitty Pryde.
Neat.
Which is like awesome because Kitty Pryde is one of those like 6 characters that got to grow up in comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Where like in the 80s she was like 15 and now she's like 25 or something.
Yeah.
So it's cool that she's an adult and she's leading this X-Men team, which again, really cool idea. Before this, she was on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Because
Oh
she,
yeah, she covered for Star-Lord, right?
yeah, because she was dating Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird one. But that was kind of funny because, like, when you look at her track record for dating people, every person she's seriously dated has been named Peter. Because Colossus' first name is Piotr, or Peter.
Yeah.
There was Pete Wisdom in, like, the 80s.
Yeah.
There's Peter Quill.
Yeah.
And then in the Ultimate Universe, she dated Peter Parker. Like, you got a thing going on. You got a weird fetish, Kitty.
I was about to say Peter Parker, but it's apparently already true.
Peter Parker Porter. Yeah. Peter Parker
Peter
Pumpernickel. Peter Parker Pumpernickel, just trying to tongue tie people. But yeah, I gotta tell you, if it weren't for the anti-Semitic symmetry in this, or it's not symmetry, but like the messages in this book, we probably wouldn't be talking about it because this book's kind of boring. To be totally honest with you, even though the stuff that happens would infer you to think it's not boring, but like when I say this is like the basic X-Men book, it opens with a newscast of a woman be like, "Mutants, are they dangerous? Yes, they are. And let me tell you, like, come on."
More like
Mutants are dangerous. This is why. And
Like
it
the
just fucking
first-
shows Magneto like just ripping iron out of a person's body.
And it's like, I mean,
It's
you're
like
right
a
about that.
BuzzFeed top 10.
It's kind of hard to defend mutants when Magneto's around.
Yeah.
But no, the first 5 panels are just her being like, "Mutant, mutant, bad mutant, bad mutant." And then you cut to like, I think it's New York City because everything fucking happens in New York. The city's being attacked by this villain called Terrax.
Yep.
Tears axe. He controls like ground, like controls the element of ground. I'm trying to find like a good photo of this dude. Right there in the corner, David. It's right there in the corner.
It looks kind of
He's
neat.
a gray dude with an axe. Neat. His thing is that he is one of the many heralds of Galactus.
How many heralds does Galactus have?
Like
Enough.
5.
Really?
How many does he need?
Well, he goes through one and then they leave and then he gets a new one.
That's true.
There was like Silver Surfer, I think Stardust, Terrax, Nova, not the one you're thinking of, and like one other one. But like, yeah, he's had a few. But Terrax at this point is unemployed from Galactus.
He's unemployed.
So I'm looking for work. So I'm here in New York cutting buildings in half.
Who needs an accent?
No, Terrax, no. That means yes, where I come from. But Terrax is tearing ass across New York, and so the X-Men show up, and what's funny is when they show up, they're like, you'd think the Avengers would be here to help us, but they're not. And then after they beat Terrax, they're like, wow, you'd think after the whole mess an Avenger would show up, but they're not. It's like, X-Men, like, you guys are an established team, you're okay. You don't need the support. You literally have Colossus. You have a guy who's old and won't die, but, like, they go to fight Terrax, and you get, like, a cool splash page of Kitty Pryde being like, to me, my X-Men, which was, like, Xavier's line from back in the day. And they're like, oh, you've been waiting to say that. And so, like, there's a building that's gonna fall, and Kitty's like, alright, Nightcrawler, teleport me to the top of the building, then get everyone in the building out. He's like, okay, and he poof, poof, poof. And,
Okay.
and Kitty's like, alright, Colossus, push the building and try to, like, slow down its fall. Colossus like, okay, push building. Try to hold it up. Like, he can't lift a building, but he can at least slow down the fall. Yeah. Meanwhile, Storm, Prestige, and Old Man Logan fight Terrax. They tear his ass, and he runs away. Oh, fuck you guys, go back to the Galactus.
We're gonna go Axe over here now.
Goes
chopping down some trees.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna make some books out of these trees.
Books on why I hate you.
He's like cutting down a tree, like you pan up, and it's like Groot just standing there, like, crush. No one cares, Terrax. No, I'm cool.
I think he's neat.
But the building is falling, and they're like, Kitty, what are you gonna do? And she's like, I'm gonna phase the building through the ground.
How does that work?
Her power is that she can phase.
Yeah,
and
but I'm just like, now you just have a building in the ground.
I was about to say that sounds like a
Is it gonna go through the earth?
No, it's gonna go under the ground.
No.
So if you like dug under the streets of New York, you just find like a window into an office.
Gotcha, so they're just gonna cover the subway?
Yeah, they just break the subway as a result. X-Men, you saved us, but I can't get to work!
Train crashes into the building.
That's when Jameson's like, fuck the X-Men! I believed in them. But like literally she's riding this building.
But more importantly, fuck Spider-Man.
Look at this. She's riding this building. I'm on it. I can do this.
So I hate to go back.
Yeah.
Go back a little bit.
To Terrax?
But I am just looking at Terrax now, like getting a big picture of him.
Yep.
Holy fuck, he's Dark Side of the X.
Dark Side
you
of
really
the X. But like, after the whole event, a bunch of people show up and Kitty's like, I just want to make sure everyone's okay. And this little girl's like, I'm okay. And this mother's like, don't talk to it, dear.
Don't talk to it.
Yeah, and she's like, it? Really?
Now replace it with the Jews.
And the woman's like, sorry, mutant, homo superior, enhanced individual, whatever the politically correct term is for your kind these days. It's like,
That's a bit
dude.
extreme.
This just...
Enhanced individual? That one sounds derogatory.
What are you, enhanced?
Now replace all this with black.
Or gay, or whatever minority party, you want to put it in there.
The Jews.
But she makes this big speech, and she gives it off as
Stop
like,
making that.
Kitty Bait makes it off as like, I know we got in a fight with the Inhumans, and that got you guys mad, but we still want to help you.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did have a little squall with the Inhumans, did they?
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like that's not what this is about. I just feel like this is always it's always something.
Didn't
with
It's
the
always
mutants.
just humans are like, no.
No,
Didn't
they find excuses.
Like after that whole squall, didn't they like team up and become the Uncanny X-Men or something?
They
like
had a
that?
book called Uncanny Inhumans or something, and some like Beast joined the Inhumans for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Like they tried to play it off as like, no, we're friends now. It was exactly like
No, it was
because
the Avengers.
in 2010 they did Avengers vs X-Men, and then
Yeah.
after that they had a book where it was like the Uncanny Avengers with X-Men and Avengers on this team,
Yeah.
and then literally 2014 Inhumans vs X-Men. After that, now we have the Uncanny Inhumans versus X-Men and Inhumans. Like every time the X-Men go to war with someone, somehow there's a book afterwards where they're like, we're
Yeah,
gonna work
like-
together.
We're neat.
We're not joining you because literally one of you can just breathe and
Just-
all of New York is gone.
Just
but,
Wolverine and Black Ball just locking arms. Da, 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 da.
I mean, if I was just black, I was just fuck all of you.
And you'd let me.
Sneeze and half the earth is gone.
But this is where we get the first bit of bad art. So I should say that the artist who made this conscious decision is named Adrian Syath. For one thing, and this is more of just like something people noticed, they don't know if it was intentional, the way Kitty is standing here, she's next to a jewelry store. And her head is right next to the Jew part of the word jewelry. That could be intentional, it could not be. See? And then there's a number on this jewelry store that's 212. Oh, sorry, it's not the 212. It's this. There's like a number 51 on this guy's shirt. The 51 is referencing a massive Islamic anti-Semitic demonstration that took place in Jakarta on December 12th. So it's dating back to a thing where they beat up a bunch of Jews. Pretty self-explanatory. What's
Although this one right here, the Alm.
it might mean something, but like I'm working off a page here, but like I doubt the Pierre thing over here is supposed to mean anything.
More.
That's like a baguette bakery thing, but
There's also might be that too.
Oh, that the FDNY, probably the Fire Department of New York,
Oh, you never know.
because it's a fire truck.
We're looking at symbols in here.
Symbolism.
Symbolism of the
that's the
great
first
heroes
bit.
of the firemen.
We then cut to Central Park because for whatever reason the X-Men have placed the X-Mansion in Central Park,
That's just bad placement.
That's a bad idea.
and they're playing baseball with each other, which is like a lot of people are like, why are the X-Men playing baseball? This is weird, but like in
Kids.
the 70s, that's what the X-Men. No, they're all adults, but like in the 70s, the X-Men used to play baseball together as like a team building experience, which is like, oh, that's nice. I like that. That's like a classic kind of
Yeah.
homey, good feeling idea
Mhm.
that the X-Men would do that just for practice when they're not, fighting each other. But they're playing baseball, and this is where we get another little, another little thing. There's like five things. Sorry, there's like three things in this book that are messages against Jews, but like just those alone got people sparked. But Colossus is wearing a shirt that has QS 551 on it. Let me take out my handy dandy phone here. QS 5 reference to a Quranic verse that, according to the fundamentalist interpretations, prohibits Muslims from electing a Christian or Jewish leader. Now, this references back to Syaf because I think he is Muslim. I guess at the time there was what's the word I'm looking for? Not a general, not a mayor, not a president, a governor. There was going to be a governor in Islam who was like Asian, and he was going to be elected, and a lot of people were like, no, you can't elect him because he's not Muslim. And Syaf was one of the people who was like, yeah, you can't elect him because he's not Muslim. And so that's why he's like, I'm going to put my own religious, political beliefs in the art of this X-Men book. So the QS 551 thing was him being like, see, it means that they can't elect him because he's a Christian or he's Jewish or he's not Muslim at all. So that's what that means. And Colossus is wearing it on his shirt. And because of these messages, like, it's so awful because he did this. The editors didn't notice. It got out. Tumblr people noticed. They outed it and referenced what all these things meant.
Tumblr people always notice.
It got back to Marvel editorial. They fired Syaf. Like, you, be gone! It was that part from the Thor movie where he's like, be gone! I cast you out! So they fired him, and then they, like, when they did reprints of this, they removed all those little messages. I think they even removed, like, any letters that were on the art at all, like even the ASM thing you mentioned, just in case that meant anything. And it was one of the worst things about Marvel, like, last year, on, like, a list of horrible things and missteps they took. Because all this showed was, like, you literally have an editor.
Yeah.
Every Marvel comic has an editor that looks through and makes sure there's no mistakes or anything suspicious going on, and they overlook these things. And I get it, because it's like, if you knew nothing about that subject.
Yeah.
When I read this the first time, I was like, whatever, he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Only to go online and be like, oh, that's what that means. So, in that way, I get it. But at the same time, you gotta blame someone for this. And I guess it has to be Syaf and the editors. But they're playing baseball, and like, Old Man Logan's talking about how, oh, this is good. It feels good to see them like this. Softball's normal, and normal's always been short supply for this outfit. It's like gold. It's not gold. Gold X-Men gold.
Jesus Christ.
Yar.
It's called the gold.
The gold. I think Kitty is like, Logan, are you getting sentimental in your old age? He's like, tell anybody and I'll gut you.
You're dead where I'm from.
All of you are dead.
You're
I
dead
watched
there.
you
and
die
I,
Kill
ki-
anybody, don't
in
kill
my
me.
arms.
I killed all of you because I was tricked into doing it.
You're dead there, and you're dead to me now. There's no difference.
You're dead to me now. But then
Listen, man, I already grieved for you. I can do whatever I want.
You're all dead. I'm the only one who's still alive. Logan, you're having PTSD. Leave me alone.
Shink, shink, shink.
There's just rehash.
It's just like on the ground.
Colossus is like holding him back. I got you. I got you. No, let me go. You're all
No.
dead.
You don't understand.
That would suck. If he wasn't quippy and fun, he was just like, who said that? like senile old man Logan.
He's been through so many wars.
You'd think he'd get that way, but no.
Yeah.
He just stifles all that.
It's just, yeah, it's all the whiskey and cigar.
I just bury it
the bubness.
like my family.
I bury it. I just let it fester in the back of my head like a mental illness.
I bury it like everything else. Jesus, Logan, you're a bummer.
Just like
You're a party pooper,
looks
man.
at Xavier. Yeah, don't go in there.
Anyways, here's Wonderwall.
Don't go in my head.
There's some dark shit in there.
Xavier peeks. He's like, oh,
Ah,
dude,
it's just messy in there.
cover it up.
Yeah, come on, man.
There's children. There's psychic children here. But
Could you imagine a fucking kid just wakes up in the middle of the night because his powers are just like
freaking
working
out, yeah.
in the middle of the night, and he's just like, ah!
He's seeing all the
He's
Wolverines.
killed so many people.
He's just going through Logan's head by accident.
Yeah.
And Logan's like, calm down, calm down.
Logan just like wakes up and just. Ah.
I told him not to look.
I told him not to look. Aha.
He looks in like Angel's head and there's memories of like Angel like watching gay porn of guys. And Angel's like, get out of my head. You tell anyone, I'll kill you.
You tell anyone.
I'll slit your throat with my wings. He can do that. He's got metal wings.
Angel. Metal wings.
So yeah, they're playing softball, and then this dude in a suit walks up. His name is like Alex Sandstrom, and he's from like the mayor. He's from the mayor's office of New York, and this is where it gets like really like real for the X-Men, because he's like, well, since you guys moved into Central Park, I just brought you these papers with your listings of income and what you have to pay month by month and blah blah blah. So he hands him these papers, and Kitty's reading it, and she's like, This is for $18 million. And he's like, this is Central Park. It's the most valuable place in New York. So he just walks away, and he's like, how the fuck
Are we gonna pay for
are we
this?
going to pay $18 million?
A month.
And Logan's like, you want me to claw him? No! No, Logan!
What? I'm just saying.
Say.
He's dead in my universe. It'll just be quicker now.
They're all dead. But we cut forward again to like nighttime where Nightcrawler and Storm are watching that lady from the first couple of panels talking about how bad mutants are, and this is where we get some inconsistent art because it shows Storm standing and Nightcrawler in a seat, and there's like two chairs in the room, and we pull back, and now there's just one chair in the room and Nightcrawler's sitting on it. We pull back in, we pull back out again. Now there's one chair and a glass table in the room, and it's like a really empty room, which is like, Syaf,
Where is this all coming from?
were you distracted by your like?
Your hate for
Your-
the Jews?
Were you distracted by your hate for the Jews?
We're distracted by your own hatred.
to pay attention to what's in the fucking room? No one's asking you to be perfect, but
I was
like,
testing the limits to my ability.
but deliver, man. It's gonna be one of those things like, oh, it's also a reference. One chair becoming two chairs and the chair becoming a table. It's referencing that time where Jews were killed.
It's referring that time where
You see this
fuck
chair.
those guys, am I right?
You see, a Jew got beaten by a chair. That's why there's a chair here.
That's just what I'm saying.
And then he turned into a table. Yeah.
It's all symbolic.
So the ball. You just don't get it.
Two tables.
But like that night, we see Kitty Pryde, and she's in Xavier's office because she's in charge now.
Yeah.
She's going through paperwork, probably about that 18 million, which is like, just call Tony Stark. You guys know like 4 rich people. Just call Tony, call Iron Fist.
You know,
Call it
like
the
you know,
Spider-Man
the
has a company?
conversation- Yeah, you know the conversation. Hey Tony, yeah, we need to borrow 18 million. For what?
Oh, you
Tell me
A month? For what?
We live in Central Park. Why?
Why?
You live in a park? Are
I
you
have
homeless?
so many mansions you can use.
Avengers Mansion is empty. We
Yeah.
haven't used it in years. Just like, I'll get you an entire
No,
apartment
imagine
building.
the
Yeah, like,
conversation, right?
jeez.
It's like, hey Tony, we need like $18 million, for like Central Park. You guys live in a park? Are you
Why are you
homeless?
homeless?
The X-Men
Would you
homeless.
just
X-Men goldless.
Just like they call Iron Man and just like, hey Tony, can we borrow $18 million? And you just turn the other end.
Just, I don't even have that money.
Like he laughs for like 18 minutes on the phone.
I'm in a coma.
And Kitty is still just sitting there on the phone, just waiting for him to stop laughing.
And then it's just, oh, you were serious.
He's just like, you're still on the phone.
And it's just, call Black Panther. Hang up.
Tries to call, but like, there's a force field around like phones and
Yeah,
Wakanda.
in Wakanda.
Even phone calls. can't get in.
Vibranium phones.
Just fly to Wakanda.
I'm calling you my iPhone 15.
Do you think
rub it
people in Wakanda get telemarketers?
No, they're killed on sight. You know what's funny? In X-Men Red right now, Jean Grey is framed for like killing a UN ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the point, but like because of that, some of the X-Men have to like be like rebels or whatever. They're hiding in Wakanda, which is just like you only did. Well, maybe you're only doing this because of a move. But Kitty going through paperwork, and then Colossus walks in. And Kitty and Colossus obviously have, like, a romantic past together.
Mm-hmm.
And Colossus is like, hey, I ordered a pizza. Would you like to join me? And she's like,
I ordered pizza.
And Kitty's like, no. I mean, as friends, I'd join you. Always, no problem. But you didn't mean friends, did you? And he's like, is it ever simple with us? And she's like, no, I love you, but I've moved on. And it's like, yeah,
that was jumping to a huge conclusion. Like what?
What?
Hey Rafi, do you want
That just
You want
Pizza?
pizza? You want to fuck me,
I don't
right?
want you.
I just meant pizza.
Pizza, I know what that means.
I ordered a
What?
pizza, Jesus.
Order a
what
pizza.
Is it, what does it mean?
It was their secret fetish that they fucked on top of pizza every night.
Ah,
I'd believe
Derek asking the hard
it.
question.
They're freaks.
I fuck on pizza.
They fuck on pizza to show America who's the boss.
It goes right through her, if you know what I mean.
I mean,
Dude, shut up!
You know what? You might be onto something. That's why she's like stayed the same shape all her life. I just make the carbs fall through me. What?
Teach me.
Teach me their ways.
it'd be a useful superpower for me at this point.
But yeah, Colossus is like, do you want pizza? And she's like, no, I don't love you anymore.
He's just confused, like what?
It's just pizza, man. Like,
Go back to Russia.
fuck this. I'm gonna go be KGB.
In the Ultimate Universe, that's how he got his origin story.
Yeah, he's KGB.
Yeah, like because he lives in Russia, he discovers his powers, and the fucking Russian government pull up like, get in the car!
Putin
You're a
walks
super
up-
soldier now.
Putin walks up being
You're
like,
one of
"That's
us now."
that shit tight. You're my crew now."
You're my crew. I got lots in my crew. But that's when Rachel runs in. Rachel! And she's like, there's trouble at the UN building. Someone's attacking the city. And they go off, and Rachel's like, so what was I interrupting between you and Colossus? And Kitty's like, I could face through you right now and solidify.
That weird.
Well, because they're talking about it, and Rachel's like, you know I'm telepathic, right? She's like, you know I can solidify in your brain, right? It's just good old banter between gals.
I can kill you.
I can kill you. I can also kill you. Gal talk. But yeah, the United Nations building is being attacked, and so the X-Men show up instead of anyone else in the Marvel Universe. Again, it's New York, so you'd think like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, Heroes for Hire, like most of the Avengers,
Any of the New York-based heroes.
which is a lot. But like the building's being attacked by a new version of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which consists of Pyro.
Only Toads. No.
An all-Toad squad. It consists of Pyro, who's that Australian mutant that can create fire. For some reason, Magma's on the team, and she's also a fire chick, so you have 2 fire people. Avalanche, who can create avalanches. And then, like, 2 new ones who are, like, this guy looks like a reject, like, 80s horror movie villain. Just a green fucking monster. And then, like, Emperor Palpatine in a red cloak right next to him.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I blew it.
I blew it.
Mutant.
Mutant.
I'm a mutant.
Mutant.
I'm a mutant, Anakin. But that's where the issue ends, teasing this new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cookie cutter, other than the things that we talked about.
I'd expect it to be more anti-Semite.
You'd think. David, what did you think of X-Men Gold?
It was kind of cool. I kind of wish it wasn't like rehashed Wolverine and Storm and
It's Wolverine. He wears his duster everywhere.
It's kind of neat that Kitty Pryde's like
Leading.
aging and like being used,
Being a character.
Yeah.
not being like, here's Kitty Pryde, we're gonna spotlight her, but actually here's the actual
Here's
main
the actual
person
story.
of,
Yeah, you want to focus on Wolverine over here.
Like that's what happened with her in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's so fucking dumb. I was like, fuck yeah, Kitty Pryde. Here's Peter.
No, yeah, that is literally how that Guardians run went. It was also by Bendis. Like, issue 1, Kitty Pryde was Star-Lord. Like, she took on the identity. Then by the end of issue 1, Peter shows back up. And then issue, 4, he's Star-Lord again. She's just wearing, a generic costume. But, Derek, what did you think of X-Men Gold?
I made so many anti-Semite jokes. I expected there to be
I'm
more.
honestly disappointed.
I'm honestly disappointed at the lack of racism.
Step up
Hey,
your
man.
game, Syaf.
Listen, you built it up to be so much worse than it was.
Yeah, you actually did.
Well, because the internet made it worse than it was, you know? Like, they got rid of the guy, which is, the
Yeah.
obvious course of action you take with that kind of stuff, with that kind of thing. But it's just ironic for the book that, the one book that has anti-Semitic messages in it, drawn in, is X-Men, which is all about minority characters.
Yeah.
And Kitty Pryde's Jewish. So it's like,
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
her head was right next to the Jew part of jewelry store.
See Kitty Pryde? Fucking Jew.
I didn't even think
I
about that.
didn't actually knew she was Jewish.
I know, because it's not visible.
It's because it's not a part of her character. It's
No.
just like,
No,
by
dude.
the way.
She doesn't have an accent or anything.
It's like, oh,
She's
cool.
not running around like, oi.
Like, if Nightcrawler, didn't have an accent, you probably wouldn't know he was German.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
with Colossus. Same with, Storm, in
It
a
could
way.
be like,
I'd think Colossus would be Russian.
You would think by
Just
looking
by,
at him.
build and, how his haircut is.
yeah, because they normally make Russian characters typically the same with square head and just
What are you talking about?
really
Zangief
bad shirts.
sitting in the corner.
Zangief sitting in the corner.
I'm a grappler.
grappler.
Just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
typically when they show certain characters minority, it might be in their name or something
Yeah.
like that, or they would literally say, "Hey, this is
That's also
Miss
true.
Marvel. She's
Muslim.
Muslim."
That's
Yeah.
all, that is true with the whole name thing. Colossus' last name is Rasputin.
Yeah.
He's related to the guy, actually.
Yeah.
He's related to Rasputin.
You wouldn't hear
Well, doesn't he
Kitty
have a big
Pryde.
red star on his chest, too?
No.
Is he
What?
also
Who are you
Russia's
thinking
greatest-
of?
You're probably thinking of the guy from the Teen Titans, Red Star. He was Russian. He had a bunch of energy inside him. He had to disperse into
Yeah.
capsules every day.
Yeah.
Might be him.
I'm thinking of him. I think I'm also thinking of
The Winter Soldier's
Captain
arm.
Canada.
Oh, Captain Canada, yeah. I was thinking the Winter
The
Soldier's
silver guy
arm,
with the
which is
fucking
his
leaf
own
on his
character.
chest. Yeah.
Seth, what did you think of X-Men Gold?
It was neat. It's definitely an X-Men run that I'd read.
Mm-hmm.
I like the team comp.
Okay.
Why is Old Man Logan here?
Because we
He
need a
serves no purpose.
Wolverine.
That's true.
There must
You always need a
be
Wolverine.
I mean, there's 3 other ones, but we need a Wolverine.
Yeah.
We want people to see Old Man Logan. We want people to see the movie Logan, and then come to a comic book store and then pick up every book that has him on the cover. Because
Yeah.
we know everyone's going to do that.
Exactly.
The thickness of sarcasm. See, the thing that caught me was the bit about them living in Central Park and the bills they would have to pay.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think that's
no
neat
one
'cause you
ever
never
talks
think-
about
yeah,
that.
You never think about that. How much is the rent on Avengers Tower?
money. Just throw money at
just
it.
throw money at
I
it.
feel as though they wouldn't have to pay rent because they save people's lives on a constant
Yeah,
basis.
but David,
People gotta make a living.
Yeah, that's what the heroes
do
of
they have
Power
janitors for
for.
Avengers Tower? Does a guy key card in every morning and just be like, oh, I fucking hate this place. My boss is a dick.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
There's managers.
Managers of Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
You want to talk to Tony? Hold on. I'll
Hold
see
on.
if we can fit you
Yeah,
in.
hang on.
Did I talk about my benefits? Ooh.
The fucking jets just fly. It's just,
I would love it if Wolverine opened a bank account in 1930 and just collected interest.
He just sits on it.
Especially,
He's actually the richest man in Marvel.
especially because it's Old Man Logan. He's even older than Wolverine, so
Yeah.
he should be the richest, right?
Newsflash, he can buy and sell Wakanda.
He can buy and
I can
sell
buy
Tony
and
Stark.
sell you.
What would happen if instead of Wolverine's bones being made of adamantium, what if they're vibranium?
You know, made from
Oh,
gold.
Jesus Christ.
So it's a gold vibranium mix. Gives them expensive like that.
And
It's not expensive like that.
Also, like with Old Man Logan, it's like he also gets senior benefits.
True.
Actually,
True.
even normal Wolverine would get senior benefits. He gets even better senior benefits.
Shit, man.
as
Wolverine is
a senior.
Wolverine should just start investing.
That's why he
Like,
does all the shopping for the X-Men.
Yeah.
He's got the money to cover it.
That's why he can go to Whole Foods.
That's why.
True.
That's why he can take an hour debating on whether or not he wants clementines or oranges.
Organic butter. I'm
Listen,
good for
man,
it.
Clementines are superior.
Why should you be that kind of guy? Who's like, I don't buy my dairy. I actually make my own dairy. I own a farm.
Oh my god, no.
I know the fun.
You know what? That would work because Old Man Logan owned a farm. Whatever. But yeah, that's
They
X-Men
got ravaged
Gold.
by inbred Hulks.
Yep, we all know how that went.
That's my farmhand.
So for the next like,
Fucking Hulk boy.
so the plan as it is now is next week instead of the Combuffet podcast, we're gonna be doing a Tales from the Script episode,
Neat.
which is where we talk about canceled superhero movies with a Spider-Man theme this time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll be down for that.
Spooderman.
And then week after that, I have a panel pitch for a Batman and Robin movie.
Neat.
And then I think we're going to do another second serving, which is I take an old episode of the Comic Buffet, I bring the book back, and we talk about it. I haven't decided on a book yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I do.
Alright.
Go to the panelbread.podbean.com, panelbread.blogs.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.